Hey everybody. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you kind of a faux watercolor technique that is so easy and I use it all the time. I'm starting with some water reactive ink. This is Hero Hue's Taffy ink on a craft mat, and I'm spraying it, and I'm just going to cover most of a sheet of watercolor paper with this wet ink. This is a 5x7 sheet of paper. Completely okay if you have white spaces. I think it actually looks better that way. So I will just clean that up and get it out of the way, and you will need to dry this piece completely because we are going to be stamping on it. So I will just heat gun that real briefly. And you want it to be completely dry. So if you need to dry it on both sides, that's fine. Then I'm going to set it up in my MISTI. It does extend into the hinge area a little bit, but that doesn't do anything. It's fine. And I'm stamping the tree in the same ink, but then I'm spraying the stamp after I ink it up the second time. And I'm also spraying the stamped image. I know you can't see the other side of my MISTI, but I am spraying the stamp after I ink it up. Then spraying the stamped image to make that run just a little bit. So then I will dry that and then put the other tree in, and I'm going to repeat this whole process. Now, the more water you add at either phase, so either after inking and then spraying it while it's still on the lid of the MISTI, or adding the water to the trees, you're going to get a different, more watercolory look. And you'll see it because I'm actually going to create two of these scenes on the same sheet of watercolor paper. That's really why I love this 5x7 size, because I got two cards out of this one sheet of paper. So I'll just go next to that tree, and I'm leaving it wet this time just to show you that you can do this either way and you'll just get different effects. You can sort of see where it's already bleeding a little bit, where I'm picking up water from that other tree. So now I sprayed the paper and I'm letting that run around. And what it's doing is it's making it look blurry. It's making it look watercolory. And that's what's so fun about reactive inks, is you can get all these different effects with them, whether you're stamping with them or whether you're using for a background like I did. So now I'll set up the other tree again over on the left. This is how I'm building my two little scenes. And I've just reoriented that paper in my MISTI just to make that a little bit easier. And you can see I still have a puddle of water over on the left. I'll kind of use that to my advantage, let that run over into the left-hand scene as well. So once you have that as blurry as you want it, just go ahead and dry it. You can always blot up any little puddles that look like they're going to leave kind of hard edges. But the thing about water reactive ink is it doesn't tend to leave as many hard edges as traditional watercolor pigment will, so that's actually a little bit easier. Now we're going to sort of repeat this process with a little twist to get the foreground trees done. So this has a layering tree that looks like a Christmas tree in this stamp set. And I'm going to use multiple colors to create these trees because this is a really fun way to use your inks. And I already have a pink background, so you're already going to see some color mixing just because I'm stamping a blue onto a pink background. So it's going to give it almost a purple tone to it. But then I'm going to add another color, root beer, which is a magical color that does a little bit of color separation when it gets wet. And you'll see like some greens creep in there, etc. I'm using my smallest blending brush to just selectively apply it to the stamp. And then you can see when I spray it what I'm talking about with that green when it mixes with the blue, just gives a really cool tone to the blue ink. Now I inked up that stamp again with blue to add just a little bit more color to it, and I'm dabbing off that little puddle that it left. And then I will stamp that one more time with that root beer ink. And I just love the blend of these two colors. I think it makes it so much more interesting. So I'll repeat this process on the left-hand side, but I am going to treat these two trees differently. So wait until you see how that works because they end up looking really different. So this time I just stamped it with ink basically dry onto the panel, and then I'm inking it up selectively again with the root beer, getting those beautiful browns and greens when those two colors mix. And then I'm activating this one just by spraying this after I've already inked that up. So you can see how different that looks from the other treatment of that tree. One is a little fuzzier than the other, but they both have that beautiful mix of colors that I love. I just think the root beer is magical with a bunch of different colors. So you're going to like it no matter what you mix it with. But now I'm going to use white ink in the layering portion of the tree to go over the top of that colored tree and show you what adding a little bit of detail does. Obviously, it lightens the ink just a tiny bit, but it does also kind of frame up the tree, shows you some little branches, just a different option for you. Now I'm going to splatter the entire thing. Since this is such a fun abstract scene, and it's obviously a winter scene, I wanted to add what looked like falling snow. So I'm doing that with my Posca pen and just kind of smacking it with my brush like it's done something wrong. And that is enough with these really juicy paint pens to give yourself a splatter. So that goes over the entire scene and it looks really, really pretty. Now, depending on how much paint you use, you're going to have a little bit of dimension while this is drying, and these will be very, very opaque little snowdrops. Now, I love this little bird and the little tracks. There are two different kinds of tracks in this stamp set. It's really cute, and so I wanted to show you that before I showed you the finished cards because it's perfect for this little scene. So there's the bird on the left and then the detailed tree on the right, and you can see how easy it is to make two cards with this technique out of a single sheet of paper. Head over to my blog for more information, and thanks so much for watching.